Hello YouTube, my name's Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and another episode of DNA Saturday, which is the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me DNA bombs. That was the gray class we're going to be using throughout the entirety of this gameplay, and this is the part of the video where I usually say, if you would like, you can pause the video to go back and get a good look at the class so you can copy it for yourself, replicate if you will, and try it out for yourselves, right? That kind of idea. Chances are you're not really going to be trying out this class because there's quite literally nothing to this class, so the class we're using is nothing whatsoever aside from a UAV and a system hack in the kill streaks. That is it. So this is basically going to be a naked DNA bomb. There's a lot of things you could actually classify this as. Now, something that I wanted to call it, because I think it just sounds so cool, and actually used to kind of play this way a little bit back in the day, way back in 2008 in World at War. There's a set of challenges in World at War called Field Specialist. I thought that was the coolest sounding term ever, Field Specialist, you know. And I used to play a lot, and I would be a quote-unquote Field Specialist, where I would run around and I would like only pick up guns, and I would just try and get kills with other people's guns and stuff like that. They're just trying to be out there surviving, you know, that kind of thing. Some people may call this a survival DNA bomb. Some other people may call this a field specialist DNA bomb. Some people may call it a naked DNA bomb. But regardless, this is a DNA bomb where the player starts off with literally nothing besides a UAV and a system hack as his kill streaks, and then just runs around and picks up other people's guns and gets a DNA bomb that way. It's pretty freaking insane. So it's actually sent in by a guy that goes by the name of Buckshot, who is actually a first-time guest here on my YouTube channel. I'm definitely a big fan of that. Definitely a big fan of having people for the first time show up on my YouTube channel and be able to make an appearance. As much as we love the returning guests, the names that you guys all know, the CODGO 619s, the Bazonkas back from Call of Duty Ghosts, the Friendly Machines, the Harithios, people we've had on the show multiple times over the years. It's also awesome to see brand new faces, right? Definitely awesome to see people that are coming here making a first time appearance and hopefully making a good impression on you guys. And this gameplay, I don't know if there's a better impression than this, because this gameplay is pretty freaking insane, man. Running around and just picking up all the different guns. Now, I'm going to say he does pick up AK-12s quite a bit throughout the entirety of this gameplay, which is pretty good. I got to say, I like it that a lot of people are starting to use AK-12 a lot more here in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. You know, the ball and the AS-1 are starting to get used a little bit less as time goes by. I mean, they haven't been nerfed or anything. It's just people, I think, are finally starting to get a little bit bored of them, and some more people are running around with different guns, and the AK-12 is one of the best guns in the game, man. It just is. It's so good. It's so much fun to use. It just doesn't seem to get as much, doesn't really get as much representation in the Call of Duty community as compared to some of the other guns in the game. But I'm definitely enjoying the AK-12. It's actually right up there with the MP11, if you guys will know, as my #1 weapon. Actually, they were very tied. Like, they were literally tied before my last Prestige video, and then for the last couple games of my Prestige, I used the MP11, and that's the reason why it jumped a little bit ahead of the AK-12. Both guns are amazing in my own personal opinion. I think you should definitely try them out. AK-12, MP11. Right around with those guns, guys. They're very good, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised if you actually try them out, because AK-12 is a laser in this game, man. It doesn't kick at all, and it hits like a truck downrange. Definitely a whole lot of fun. But the DNA bomb itself is actually getting relatively close to being over. He's running around, as you guys are seeing, just picking up guns, and he keeps picking up different variations of the AK-12, as well as he has the IMR Tusk right there, which I don't know. I don't like that particular variant of the IMR. I think I'd rather have a naked variant, as weird as that sounds. I'm just not a big fan of it. Am I crazy with that? I'm apparently crazy when it comes to actually giving opinions on weapon variants and things like that, because in last week's episodes of DNA Saturday, somebody got a DNA bomb running around with the ARX, and they were actually using the Steel Bite variant, and I said I believe that's the best variant in the game, and so many people were like, no, it's actually the Hole Puncher, that's the best variant in the game. And I'm like, well, there's really a give or take, and it really depends on which stats you prefer and which stats you think are actually going to help you, you know. I have the Hole Puncher, and I actually don't have the Steel Bite, but I've heard a lot of good things about the Steel Bite, and I looked up the stats. I know what the stats are for the Steel Bite, and I thought they were both pretty good overall. Apparently, the one I have, the Professional Hole Puncher, is the one that overwhelmingly the Call of Duty community has decided is a lot better. But, you know, sometimes I'm just apparently wrong when it comes to my opinions on different setups and different variations of weapons. But right here, we're actually going to pick up some other guns. Right here, this gun, all right, this KF5 here, what is this, a marksman? This is going to kick like crazy. Watch this. He's going to turn the corner. He's going to start spraying all these people, but his gun kicks straight up in the air. He doesn't end up getting anybody. But that other guy goes in there and actually picks up 4 people with the MP11. I'm like, oh, quad MP11. I want a quad MP11 more than life itself sometimes, man. It's my favorite gun in the game. You guys know that. I'm yet to get a quad feed with it. I've gotten quad feeds with random guns like the EM1. I've gotten quad feeds running around with the SN6. I've gotten quad feeds with the most random of stuff. But never will I ever see that quad feed with the MP11. I would definitely enjoy that. But right here is going to be the final kill. And bam! He goes up there and punches him for the DNA bomb, ladies and gentlemen. How awesome was that? Started off with literally nothing on his class besides a UAV and a system hack in his kill streak setup, and he ends up going ahead and getting it. This guy just fails so hard at killing him, but ends up, of course, doing it because he wanted to die. He was actually going for, if you guys don't know, a double DNA bomb here in this video. He actually went on a 20+ kill streak here towards the end of the video, but unfortunately, he did not actually pick up the double DNA bomb. So he just calls in his first DNA bomb. He's going to call it in and try and get some kills here before the end of the video to kind of pad them stats a little bit. And also, like, what's the point of being a DNA bomb if you're not going to call it in, right? I've seen people do that. I've seen people make the mistake of, like, they get a chem strike like last year in Call of Duty Ghosts, and they would try and wait towards the end of the gameplay, and then they would, like, call it in. They'd call it in a little bit too late, and then it would, like, the game would end during the countdown or something like that. It was always super funny when people would mess it up. It happened, believe it or not, more than once. But there we go. We see the final score there. 58 kills, 2 deaths, as well as 3 captures and 4 defends. A pretty nice overall gameplay sent in by Mr. Buckshot here. I was definitely a big fan of that. Just starting off with literally nothing at all. A knife in your hand, no perks, nothing, and then going out there just picking up everyone else's guns. Still, once again, no perks, and still picking up the DNA bomb. Pretty awesome overall stuff from you, Mr. Buckshot. I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episodes of DNA Saturday, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating where you guys feel the video deserves, and if you guys would like to submit your DNA bombs for next week's episode of DNA Saturday, simply watch the video. It's on your screen right now. There's an annotation on your screen that you can click, as well as a link to it down in the video description. Just be sure to go ahead and check out that video because it will tell you everything you need to know about submitting your stuff for DNA Saturday. If you guys would like to go ahead and check out Mr. Buckshot, once again, he's a first-time guest here on my YouTube channel, and unfortunately, he's actually still under 500 subscribers, so he doesn't have a custom URL. So once again, if you guys would like to check out his channel, there's an annotation on your screen. You click, as well as a link to his channel down in the video description. I believe it's actually the first link in the video description of every single episode of DNA Saturday is the channel of the person that actually submitted their stuff. So over on his YouTube channel, right, he posts Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now, he's a new channel. He's only been making videos over the course of about 3 weeks, but the videos that he's actually posted in the past week alone, it's just so ridiculous. So he's got a 109-second long DNA bomb, right? 109 seconds. That's not even 2 minutes long. It was a ridiculously quick DNA bomb. He also has a triple DNA bomb, actually several triple DNA bombs. He has a 61 kills in 6v6 TDM gameplay. That's ridiculous. Think about the fact that there's only 75 total kills in Team Deathmatch. Of course, they upped that, so now it's 100, actually, recently. But before that, it was 75, right? So we got 61 of his team's 75 kills in 6v6 Team Deathmatch, which is pretty crazy. He, of course, has the gameplay that he submitted for this week's episode of DNA Saturday over there on his YouTube channel, as well as some really nice other ones. So if any of that stuff sounds interesting to you, go ahead and check out his YouTube channel because he is crazy good at Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Once again, hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode of DNA Saturday, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.